Act 4, Scene 1, a garden on Titus estate. Enter young Lucius carrying a stack of books, fleeing from Lavinia, running after him. Enter Titus and Marcus as young Lucius drops his books and runs to them.
Help, grandsire, help! My Aunt Lavinia follows me everywhere. I know not why. Good Uncle Marcus, see how swift she comes. Alas, sweet aunt, I know not what you mean.
Stand by me, Lucius. Do not fear thy aunt.
She loves thee, boy, too well to do thee harm.
Aye, when my father was in Rome, she did.
What means my niece Lavinia by these signs?
Fear her not, Lucius. Somewhat doth she mean. See, Lucius, see how much she makes of thee. Somewhither would she have thee go with her. Ah, boy, Cornelia never with more care read to her sons than she hath read to thee sweet poetry and Tully's orator.
Canst thou not guess, therefore she plies thee thus?
My lord, I know not, nor can I guess, unless some fit or frenzy do possess her. For I have heard my grandsire say full oft, extremity of grief would make men mad, and I have read that Hecuba of Troy ran mad for sorrow. That made me to fear, although, my lord, I know my noble aunt loves me as dear as e'er my mother did, and would not but in fury fright my youth, which made me down to throw my books and fly, causeless perhaps, but pardon me, sweet aunt, and madam, if my Uncle Marcus go, I will most willingly attend your ladyship.
Lucius, I will.
How now, Lavinia? Marcus, what means this? Some book there is that she desires to see. Which is it, girl, of these? Open them, boy. Oh, but thou art deeper read and better skilled. Come, take choice of all my library, and so beguile thy sorrow till the heavens reveal the damned contriver of this deed. Why lifts she up her arms in sequence thus?
I think she means that there was more than one confederate in the fact. Aye, more there was, or else to heaven she heaves them for revenge.
Lucius, what book is that she taught us so?
Grandsire, 'tis Ovid's Metamorphosis. My mother gave it me.
For love of her that's gone, perhaps she culled it from among the rest.
Soft. So busily she turns the leaves. Help her! What would she find? Lavinia, shall I read? This is the tragic tale of Philomel, and treats of Tyrius' treason and his rape, and rape, I fear, was root of thy annoy.
See, brother, see. Note how she quotes the leaves.
Lavinia, wert thou thus surprised, sweet girl, ravished and wronged as Philomela was? Forced in the ruthless, vast, and gloomy woods. See, see, aye, such a place there is where we did hunt. Oh, had we never hunted there! Patterned by that the poet here describes by nature made for murders and for rapes.
Oh, why should nature build so foul a den unless the gods delight in tragedies?
Give signs, sweet girl, for here are none but friends. What Roman lord it was durst do the deed? Or slunk not Saturnine as Tarquin erst that left the camp to sin in Lucrece' bed?
Sit down, sweet niece. Brother, sit down by me. Apollo, Pallas, Jove, or Mercury, inspire me that I may this treason find. My lord, look here, Lavinia. This sandy plot is plain. Guide, if thou canst, this after me. I have writ my name without the help of any hand at all. Cursed be that heart that forced us to this shift. Write thou, good niece, and here display at last what God will have discovered for revenge. Heaven guide thy pen to print thy sorrows plain, that we may know the traitors and the truth. Oh, do you read, my lord, what she hath writ?
Stuprum. Chiron Demetrius.
What? The lustful sons of Tamara? Performers of this heinous bloody deed?
Magni dominator poli. Tam lentus audi sclera. Tam lentus vides.
Oh, calm thee, gentle lord. Although I know there is enough written upon this earth to stir a mutiny in the mildest thoughts and arm the minds of infants to exclaims. My lord, kneel down with me. Lavinia, kneel. And kneel, sweet boy, the Roman Hector's hope, and swear with me, as with the woeful fear and father of that chaste dishonored dame, Lord Junius Brutus swore for Lucretius' rape, that we will prosecute by good advice mortal revenge upon these traitorous Goths, and see their blood or die with this reproach.
'Tis sure enough, and you knew how. But if you hunt these bear whelps, then beware. The dam will wake, and if she wind you once, she's with the lion deeply still in league, and lulls him while she playeth on her back. And when he sleeps, will she do what she list. You are a young huntsman, Marcus, let alone. And come, I will go get a leaf of brass, and with a gad of steel will write these words and lay it by. The angry northern wind will blow these sands like Sibyl's leaves abroad, and where's our lesson then? Boy, what say you?
Say, my lord, that if I were a man, their mother's bedchamber should not be safe for these base bondmen of the yoke of Rome.
Ah, that's my boy. Thy father hath full oft for this ungrateful country done the like.
And uncle, so will I if I live.
Come, go with me into mine armory. Lucius, I'll fit thee, and with all my boys shall carry from me to the empress' sons presents that I intend to send them both. Come, I'll do my message, wilt thou not?
I, with my dagger in their bosoms, grandsire.
No, boy, not so. I'll teach thee another course. Lavinia, come. Marcus, look to my house. Lucius and I'll go brave it at the court. Aye, Mary, will we, sir? And we'll be waited on.
Oh, heavens. Can you hear a good man groan and not relent or not compassion him? Marcus, attend him in his ecstasy, that hath more scars of sorrow in his heart than foeman's marks upon his battered shield, but yet so just that he will not revenge the heavens for old Andronicus.
Act 4, Scene 2, Rome. A courtyard inside the palace. Enter Aaron, Chiron, and Demetrius on one side, and young Lucius on another side, carrying a bundle of weapons and verses writ upon them.
Demetrius, here's the son of Lucius. He hath some message to deliver us.
Aye, some mad message from his mad grandfather.
My lords, with all the humbleness I greet your honors from Andronicus, and pray the Roman gods confound you both.
Gramercy, lovely Lucius, what's the news?
That you're deciphered, that's the news for villains marked with rape. May it please you, my grandsire, well advised, hath sent by me the goodliest weapons of his armory to gratify your honorable youth, the hope of Rome, and so he bid me say, and so I do, and with his gifts present your lordships that whenever you have need, you may be armed and appointed well. And so I leave you both, like bloody villains.
What's here? Scroll and written round about. Let's see. Integer vitae, scelerisque parus non eget mari iaculus nec arcu.
Ah, 'tis a verse in Horace. I know it well. I read it in the grammar long ago.
Aye, just. A verse in Horace. Right, you have it. Now, what a thing it is to be an ass. Here's no sound jest. The old man hath found their guilt, and send them weapons round about with lines that wound beyond their feeling to the quick. But were our witty empress well afoot, she would applaud Andronicus's conceit, but let her rest in her unrest a while. And now, young lords, was not a happy star led us to Rome, strangers, and more than so, captives, to be advanced to this height? It did me good before the palace gate to brave the tribune in his brother's hearing.
But me more good to see so great a lord basely insinuate and send us gifts.
Had you not reason, Lord Demetrius? Did you not use his daughter very friendly?
I would we had 1,000 Roman dames at such a bay, by turn to serve our lust.
A charitable wish, and full of love.
Here lacks but your mother for to say amen.
And that would she, for 20,000 more.
Come, let us go and pray to all the gods for our beloved mother in her pains.
Pray to the devils, the gods have given us over.
Why do the emperor's trumpets flourish thus?
Belike for joy the emperor hath a son.
Soft, who comes here?
Good morrow, lords. Oh, tell me, did you see Aaron the Moor?
Well, more or less, or never a whit at all. Here Aaron is. What with Aaron now?
Oh, little Aaron, we are all undone. Now help or woe betide thee evermore.
Why, what a caterwauling dost thou keep? What dost thou wrap and fumble in thine arms?
Oh, that which I would hide from heaven's eye. Our empress's shame and stately Rome's disgrace. She is delivered, lords, she is delivered.
To whom?
I mean, she is brought a bed.
Will God give her good rest? What hath he sent her?
Devil!
Why then, she is the devil's dam. A joyful issue.
A joyless, dismal, black, and sorrowful issue. Here is the babe, as loathsome as a toad, amongst the fair-faced breeders of our clime. The empress sends it thee, thy stamp is sealed, and bids thee christen it with thy dagger's point.
Stoons, you whore, is black so base a hue. Oh. Sweet brows, you are a beauteous blossom sure.
Villain, what hast thou done?
That which thou canst undo.
Thou hast undone our mother.
Villain, I have done your mother.
And therein, hellish dog, thou hast undone her. Woe to her chance, and damned her loathed choice. Accurse the offspring of so foul a fiend.
It shall not live.
It shall not die.
Aaron, it must. The mother wills it so.
What must it, nurse? Then let no man but I do the execution of my flesh and blood.
I'll broach the tadpole on my rapier's point. Nurse, give it me. My sword shall soon dispatch it.
Oh.
The sooner this sword shall plow thy bowels up. Stay, murderous villains. Will you kill your brother? Now, by the burning tapers of the sky that shone so brightly when this boy was got, he dies upon my scimitar's sharp point that touches this firstborn son and heir. I tell you, younglings, not Enceladus, with all his threatening band of Typhon's brood, nor great Alcides, nor the god of war shall seize this prey out of his father's hands. What, you sanguine, shallow-hearted boys, you white-limed walls, you alehouse-painted signs. Coal-black is better than another hue, in that it scorns to bear another hue. For all the water in the ocean can never turn the swan's black legs to white, although she lave them hourly in the flood. Tell the empress from me, I am of age to keep mine own. Excuse it how she can.
Wilt thou betray thy noble mistress thus?
My mistress is my mistress, this myself, the vigor and picture of my youth. This before all the world do I prefer. This maugre of the world will I keep safe, or some of you shall smoke for it in Rome.
By this our mother is forever shamed.
Rome will despise her for this foul escape.
The emperor in his rage will doom her death.
I blush to think upon this ignominy.
Why, there's the privilege your beauty bears. Fie, treacherous you, that will betray with blushing the close enacts and counsels of thy heart. Here is a young lad, framed of another leer. Look how the black slave smiles upon his father, as who should say, Old lad, I am thine own. He is your brother, lords, sensibly fed of that self-same blood that first gave life to you, and from that womb where you imprisoned were, he is enfranchised and come to light. Nay, he is your brother by the surer side, although my seal be stamped on his face.
Aaron, what shall I say unto the empress?
Advise thee, Aaron, what is to be done, and we will all subscribe to thy advice. Save thou the child, so we may all be safe.
Then sit we down and let us all consult. My son and I will have the wind of you. Keep there. Now, talk at pleasure of your safety.
How many women saw this child of his?
Why so, brave lords? When we join in league, I am a lamb. But if you brave the moor, the chafed boar, the mountain lioness, the ocean swells not so as Aaron's storms. But say again, how many saw the child?
Cornelia, the midwife, and myself, and no one else but the delivered empress.
The empress, the midwife, and yourself. Two may keep counsel when the third's away. Go to the empress and tell her this I said. Wee, so the pig prepared to the spit.
What meanest thou, Aaron? Wherefore didst thou this?
Oh, Lord, sir, 'tis a deed of policy. She shall live to betray this guilt of ours, a long-tongued babbling gossip? No, lords, no. And now be it known to you my full intent. Not far, one Mulitius, my countryman, his wife but yesterday night was brought to bed. His child is like to her, fair as you are. Go, pack with him, and give the mother gold, and tell them both the circumstance of all, and how, by this their child shall be advanced, and be received for the emperor's heir, and substituted in place of mine, to calm this tempest whirling in the court. And let the emperor dandle him for his own. Hark you, lords, and see, I have given her physic. And now you must needs bestow her funeral. The fields are near, and you are gallant grooms. This done, see that you take no longer days, but send the midwife presently to me. The midwife and the nurse well made away, then let the ladies tattle what they please.
Aaron, I see thou wilt not trust the air with secrets.
For this care of Tamara, herself and hers are highly bound to thee.
Now, to the Goths, as swift as swallow flies, there to dispose this treasure in mine arms, and secretly to greet the empress' friends. Come on, you thick-lipped slave, I'll bear you hence, for it is you that puts us to our shifts. I'll make you feed on berries and roots, and feed on curds and whey, and suck the goat, and cabin in a cave, and bring you up to be a warrior and command a camp.
Act 4, Scene 3, Rome, a public square outside of the palace. Enter Titus, carrying arrows with letters attached, old Marcus, his son Publius, young Lucius, and their kinsmen Caius and Sempronius with bows.
Come, Marcus, come. Kinsman, this is the way. Sir boy, let me see your archery. Look you draw home enough, and 'tis there straight. Terras astrea reliquit. Be you remembered, Marcus, she's gone, she's fled. Sirs, take you to your tools. You, cousin, shall go sound the ocean and cast your nets. Happily you may catch her in the sea. Yet there's as little justice as at land. No, Publius and Sempronius, you must do it. 'Tis you must dig with mattock and with spade and pierce the inmost center of the earth. Then, when you come to Pluto's region, I pray you, deliver him this petition. Tell him it is for justice and for aid, and that it comes from old Andronicus, shaken with sorrows in ungrateful Rome. Ah, Rome. Well, I made thee miserable what time I threw the people's suffrages on him that thus doth tyrannize o'er me. Go, get you gone, pray be careful all, and leave you not a man of war unsearched. This wicked emperor may have shipped her hence. And kinsman, then we may go pipe for justice.
O Publius, is not this a heavy case to see thy noble uncle thus distract?
Therefore, my lords, it highly us concerns by day and night to tend him carefully, and feed his humor kindly as we may, till time beget some careful remedy.
Kinsman, his sorrows are past remedy. Join with the Goths, and with revengeful war take wreak on Rome for this ingratitude, and vengeance on the traitor Saturnine.
Publius, how now? How now, my masters? What, have you met with her?
No, my good lord, but Pluto sends you word. If you will have revenge from hell, you shall. Marry, for justice she is so employed. He thinks with Jove in heaven or somewhere else, so that perforce you must needs stay a time.
He doth me wrong to feed me with delays. I'll dive into the burning lake below and pull her out of Acheron by the heels. Marcus, we are but shrubs. No cedars we, no big-boned men framed of the Cyclops size, but metal. Marcus, steel to the very back. Yet wrung with wrongs more than our backs can bear, and sith there's no justice in earth nor hell, we will solicit heaven, and move the gods to send down justice for to wreak our wrongs. Come, to this gear. You're a good archer, Marcus. Adjuvin! That's for you. Here, ad Apollonem. Ad Martem. That's for myself. Here, boy, to Pallas. Here, to Mercury. To Saturn. Caius, not to Saturnine. You're as good to shoot against the wind. To it, boy! Marcus, loose when I bid. Of my word I have written to effect. There's not a god left unsolicited.
Kinsmen, shoot all your shafts into the court. They will afflict the emperor in his pride.
Now, masters, draw. Oh, well said, Lucius. Good boy in Virgo's lap. Give it, Pallas.
My lord, I aim a mile beyond the moon. Your letter is with Jupiter by this.
Publius, what hast thou done? See, thou hast shot off one of Taurus' horns.
This was the sport, my lord, when Publius shot. The bull, being galled, gave Ares such a knock that both fell down, both the ram's horns in the court. And who should find them but the empress's villain? She laughed and told the Moor he would not choose, but give them to his master for a present.
Why, there it goes. God give his lordship joy. News from heaven! Marcus, the post is come. Sirrah, what tidings? Have you any letters? Shall I have justice? What says Jupiter?
Oh, the gibbet maker? He says that he hath taken them down again, for the man must not be hanged till the next week.
But what says Jupiter, I ask thee?
Alas, sir, I know not Jupiter. I never drank with him in all my life.
Why, villain, art not thou the carrier?
Why, of my pigeons, sir. Nothing else.
Why didst thou not come from heaven?
Heaven? Alas, sir, I never came there. God forbid I should be so bold to press to heaven in my young days. Why, I am going with my pigeons to the tribunal, plebs, to take up a matter of brawl betwixt my uncle and one of the emperor's men.
Why, sir, that is as fit as can be to serve for your oration. And let him deliver the pigeons to the emperor from you.
Tell me, can you deliver an oration to the emperor with a grace?
Nay, truly, sir, I could never say grace in all my life.
Sirrah, come hither. Make no more ado, but give your pigeons to the emperor. By me thou shalt have justice at his hands. Hold, hold. Meanwhile, here's money for thy charges. Give me pen and ink. Sirrah, can you, with a grace, deliver up a supplication?
Why, sir?
Then, here is a supplication for you. And when you come to him, at the first approach you must kneel, then kiss his foot, then deliver up your pigeons, and then look for your reward. I'll be at hand, sir. See you, do it bravely.
Well, I warned you, sir. Let me alone.
Sirrah, hast thou a knife? Come, let me see it. Come. Marcus, let us go. Publius, follow me.
Act 4, Scene 4, Rome, a courtyard inside the palace. Enter Emperor Saturninus, carrying the arrows that were shot into the palace grounds with Empress Tamara and her sons Chiron and Demetrius. Why, lords, what wrongs are these? Was ever seen an emperor in Rome thus o'erborne, troubled, confronted thus, and for the extent of equal justice used in such contempt? My lords, you know, as know the mightful gods, however these disturbers of our peace buzz in the people's ears, there naught hath passed but e'en with law against the wilful sons of old Andronicus. And what an if his sorrows have so overwhelmed his wits? Shall we be thus afflicted in his reeks, his fits, his frenzies, and his bitterness? And now he writes to heaven for his redress. See, here's to Jove, then this to Mercury, and this to Apollo, and this to the god of war. Sweet scrolls to fly about the streets of Rome. What's this but libeling against the Senate and blazoning our injustice everywhere? Goodly humor, is it not, my lords? As who would say, in Rome no justice were. But if I live, his feigned ecstasies shall be no shelter to these outrages. But he and his shall know that justice lives in Saturninus' health, whom, if he sleep, he'll so awake as he in fury shall cut off the proudest conspirator that lives.
My gracious lord, my lovely Saturnine, lord of my life, commander of my thoughts, calm thee, and bear the faults of Titus' age, the effect of sorrow for his valiant sons, whose loss hath pierced him deep and scarred his heart, and rather comfort his distressed plight than prosecute the meanest or the best for these contempts. Why, thus it shall become a high-witted Tamara to blows withal. But Titus, I have touched thee to the quick. Thy lifeblood is out. If Aaron now be wise, then all is safe, the anchor in the port. How now, good fellow? Wouldst thou speak with us?
Oh, yea, forsooth, and your mistress-ship be imperial.
Empress I am, but yonder sits the emperor.
Oh, 'tis he. God and Saint Stephen give you good e'en. I have brought you a letter and a couple of pigeons here.
Huh. Go. Take him away and hang him presently.
Oh, how much money must I have?
Sir, you must be hanged.
Hanged? Fair lady, then I have brought up a neck to a fair end.
Spiteful and intolerable. Shall I endure this monstrous villainy? I know from whence this same device proceeds. May this be born? As if his traitorous sons that died by law for murder of our brother have by my means been butchered wrongfully? Go, drag the villain by the hair. Nor age nor honor shall shape privilege. For this proud mock I'll be thy slaughterman. Sly, frantic wretch, that hopes to make me great in hope thou shouldst govern Rome and me. What news with thee, Aemilius?
My lords, Rome never had more cause. Goths have gathered head, and with a power of high resolved men bent to the spoil, they hither march amain under conduct of Lucius, son to old Andronicus, who threats in course of this revenge to do as much as ever Coriolanus did.
This warlike Lucius, general of the Goths. These tidings nip me, and I hang at the head as flowers with frost or grass beat down with storms. Aye, now begins our sorrows to approach. 'Tis he the common people loves so much. Myself have often heard them say when I have walked like a private man that Lucius' banishment was wrongfully, and they have wished that Lucius was their emperor.
Why should you fear? Is not your city strong?
Aye, but the citizens favor Lucius, and will revolt from me to succor him.
King, be thy thoughts imperious like thy name. Is the sun dimmed that gnats do fly in it? The eagle suffers little birds to sing and is not careful what they mean thereby, knowing that with the shadow of his wings he can at pleasure stint their melody. Even so mayst thou, the giddy men of Rome. Then cheer thy spirit, for know thou, emperor, I will enchant the old Andronicus with words more sweet and yet more dangerous than baits to fish or honey stalks to sheep, when as the one is wounded with the bait, the other rotted with delicious food.
But he will not entreat his son for us?
If Tamara entreat him, then he will, for I can smooth and fill his aged ears with golden promises that were his heart almost impregnable, his old ears deaf, yet both ear and heart should obey my tongue. Go thou before to be our ambassador, save that the emperor request a parley of warlike Lucius, and appoint the meeting even at his father's house, the old Andronicus.
Aemilius, do this message honorably, and if he stand in hostage for his safety, bid him demand what pledge will please him best.
Your bidding shall I do effectually.
Now will I to that old Andronicus and temper him with all the art I have to pluck proud Lucius from the warlike Goths. And now, sweet emperor, be blithe again, and bury all thy fear in my devices.
And go successantly and plead to him. Act 5, Scene 1, the plains outside of Rome. Enter Lucius with an army of Goths.
Approved warriors and my faithful friends, I've received letters from great Rome, which signifies what hate they bear their emperor, and how desirous of our sight they are. Therefore, great lords, be as your titles witness, imperious and impatient of your wrongs, and wherein Rome hath done you any scathe, let him make treble satisfaction.
Brave slip sprung from the great Andronicus.
whose name was once our terror, now our comfort, whose high exploits and honorable deeds in grateful Rome requites with foul contempt, be bold in us. We'll follow where thou leadst, like stinging bees in hottest summer's day, led by their master to the flowered fields, and be avenged on cursed Tamara. And as
he saith, so say we all with him.
I humbly thank him, and I thank you all. But who comes here, led by a lusty Goth?
Renowned Lucius, from our troops I strayed to gaze upon a ruinous monastery, and as I earnestly did fix mine eye upon the wasted building, suddenly I heard a child cry underneath a wall. I made unto the noise, when soon I heard the crying babe controlled with this discourse. Peace, tawny slave, half me and half thy dame. Did not thy hue bewray whose brat thou art? Had nature let thee but thy mother's look, villain thou mightst have been an emperor. But where the bull and cow are both milk white, they never do beget a coal black calf. Peace, villain, peace. E'en thus he rates the babe, for I must bear thee to a trusty Goth, who, when he knows thou art the Empress's babe, will hold thee dearly for thy mother's sake. With this, my weapon drawn, I rushed upon him, surprised him suddenly, and brought him hither to use as you think needful of the man.
O worthy Goth, this is the incarnate devil that robbed Andronicus of his good hand. This is the pearl that pleased your empress's eye, and here's the base fruit of her burning lust. Say, wall-eyed slave, whither wouldst thou convey this growing image of thy fiend-like face? Why dost not speak? What, deaf? Not a word? A halter, soldiers, hang him on this tree, and by his side his fruit of bastardy.
Touch not the boy, he is of royal blood.
Too like the sire for ever being good. First hang the child, that he may see it sprawl, a sight to vex the father's soul withal. Get me a ladder.
Lucius, save the child, and bear it from me to the Empress. If thou do this, I'll show thee wondrous things that highly may advantage thee to hear. If thou wilt not, befall what may befall, I'll speak no more, but vengeance wrought you all.
Say on, and if it please me which thou speakst, thy child shall live, and I will see it nourished.
And if it please thee, why, assure thee, Lucius, 'twill vex thy soul to hear what I shall speak, for I must talk of murders, rapes, massacres, acts of black night, abominable deeds, complots of mischief, treason, villainies, ruthful to hear, yet piteously performed. And this shall all be buried in my death, unless thou swear to me my child shall live.
Tell on thy mind, I say thy child shall live.
Swear that he shall, and then I will begin.
Who should I swear by? Thou believest no God. That granted, how canst thou believe an oath?
What if I do not? As indeed I do not. Yet, for I know thou art religious and hast a thing within thee called conscience, with 20 popish tricks and ceremonies, which I have seen thee careful to observe. Therefore, I urge thy oath, for that I know an idiot holds his bauble for a god, and keeps the oath which by that god he swears, to that I'll urge him. Therefore, thou shalt vow by that same god, what god soever it be, that thou adorest and hast in reverence, to save my boy, to nourish and bring him up, or else I will discover naught to thee.
Even by my God, I swear to thee I will.
First know thou, I begot him on the Empress.
O most insatiate and luxurious woman.
Tut, Lucius, this was but a deed of charity to that which thou shalt hear of me anon. 'Twas her 2 sons that murdered Bassianus. They cut thy sister's tongue and ravished her, and cut her hands, and trimmed her as thou sawest.
O detestable villain, call'st thou that trimming?
Why, she was washed, and cut, and trimmed, and 'twas trim sport for them which had the doing of it.
Oh, barbarous, beastly villains, like thyself!
Indeed, it was their tutor to instruct them. That coddling spirit had they from their mother. As sure a card as ever won the set. That bloody mind I think they learned of me, as true a dog as ever fought ahead. Well, let my deeds be witness of my worth. I trained thy brethren to that guileful hole, where the dead corpse of Bassianus lay. I wrote the letter that thy father found, and hid the gold within that letter mentioned, confederate with the queen and her 2 sons. And what not done that thou hast cause to rue, wherein I had no stroke of mischief in it? I played the cheater for thy father's hand, and when I had it, drew myself apart and almost broke from my heart with extreme laughter. I pried me through the crevice of a wall, when for his hand he had his 2 sons' heads, beheld his tears, and laughed so heartily that mine eyes were rainy like to his. And when I told the empress of this sport, she sounded almost at my pleasing tale, for my tidings gave me 20 kisses.
Canst thou say all this and
never blush?
Aye, like a black dog, as the saying is.
Art thou not sorry for these heinous deeds?
Aye, that I had not done 1,000 more. Even now I curse the day, and yet I think few come within the compass of my curse, wherein I did not some notorious ill, as kill a man or else devise his death, ravish a maid or plot the way to do it, accuse some innocent and forswear myself, some deadly enmity between 2 friends, make poor man's cattle break their necks, set fire on barns and haystacks in the night, and bid owners quench them with their tears. Oft have I digged up dead men from their graves and set them upright at their dear friend's door. Even when their sorrows almost was forgot, and on their skins, as on the bark of trees, have I with my knife carved in Roman letters, "Let not your sorrow die, though I am dead." For I have done 1,000 dreadful things, as willingly as one would kill a fly. And yet nothing grieves me heartily indeed, but that I cannot do 10,000 more.
Bring down the devil, for he must not die so sweet a death as hanging presently.
If there be devils, would I were a devil, to live and burn in everlasting fire, so I might have your company in hell, but to torment you with my bitter tongue.
Sir, stop his mouth, and let him speak no more.
My lord, there is a messenger from Rome, desires to be admitted to your presence.
Let him come near. Welcome, Emilius. What's the news from Rome?
Lord Lucius, and you princes of the Goths, the Roman emperor greets you all by me. And for he understands you are in arms, he craves a parley at your father's house, willing you to demand your hostages, and they shall be immediately delivered.
what says our general?
Emilius, let the emperor give his pledges unto my father and my uncle Marcus, and we will come. March, away.
Act 5, Scene 2, before Titus' house. Enter Tamara, Chiron, and Demetrius, disguised.
Thus, in this strange and sad habiliment, I will encounter with Andronicus and say I am Revenge, sent from below to join with him and right his heinous wrongs. Knock at his study, where they say he keeps to ruminate strange plots of dire revenge. Tell him revenge is come to join with him and work confusion on his enemies.
Who doth molest my contemplation? Is it your trick to make me ope the door, that so my sad decrees may fly away and all my study be to no effect? You are deceived, for what I mean to do, see here in bloody lines have I set down, and what is written shall be executed.
Titus, I am come to talk with thee.
No, not a word. How can I grace my talk, wanting a hand to give it action? Thou hast the odds of me, therefore no more.
If thou didst know me, thou wouldst talk with me.
I am not mad. I know thee well enough. Witness this wretched stump. Witness these crimson lines. Witness these trenches made by grief and care. Witness the tiring day and heavy night. Witness all the sorrow that I know thee well for our proud empress, mighty Tamara. Is not thy coming for my other hand?
No, thou sad man, I am not Tamara. She is thy enemy, and I thy friend. I am Revenge, sent from the infernal kingdom to ease the gnawing vulture of thy mind by working wreakful vengeance on thy foes. Come down and welcome me to this world's light. Confer with me of murder and of death. There's not a hollow cave or lurking place, no vast obscurity or misty veil where bloody murder or detested rape can couch for fear, but I will find them out, and in their ears tell them my dreadful name, Revenge, which makes the foul offender quake.
Art thou Revenge? And art thou sent to me to be a torment to mine enemies?
I am. Therefore come down and welcome me.
Do me some service ere I come to thee. Lo, by thy side, where rape and murder stands, now give some surance that thou art Revenge. Stab them, or tear them on thy chariot wheels, and then I'll come and be thy wagoner, and whirl along with thee about the globe. Provide thee 2 proper palfreys black as jet to hail thy vengeful wagon swift away, and find out murderers in their guilty caves. And when thy car is loaden with their heads, I will dismount, and by thy wagon wheel trot like a servile footman all day long, even from Hyperion's rising in the east until his very downfall in the sea. And day by day I'll do this heavy task. So, thou destroy rapine and murder there.
These are my ministers, and come with me.
Are they thy ministers? What are they called?
Rape and murder. Therefore call it so, 'cause they take vengeance of such kind of men.
Good Lord, how like the Empress' sons they are, and you, the Empress! But we worldly men have miserable, mad, mistaking eyes. Oh, sweet Revenge! Now do I come to thee, and if one arm's embracement will content thee, I will embrace thee in it by and by.
This closing with him fits his lunacy. Whate'er I forge to feed his brain-sick humors, do you uphold and maintain in your speeches. For now he firmly takes me for Revenge, and being credulous in this mad thought, I'll make him send for Lucius his son, and whilst I at a banquet hold him sure, I'll find some cunning practice out of hand to scatter and disperse the giddy Goths, or at least make them his enemies. See, here he comes, and I must ply my theme.
Long have I been forlorn and all for thee. Welcome, dread fury, to my woeful house. Well, rapine and murder, you are welcome too. How like the Empress and her sons you are. Well are you fitted, had you but amour. Could not all hell afford you such a devil? For well I wot the Empress never wags, but in her company there is amour. And would you represent our queen aright, it were convenient you had such a devil. But welcome, as you are. What shall we do?
What wouldst thou have us do, Andronicus?
Show me a murderer. I'll deal with him.
Show me a villain that hath done rape, and I am sent to be revenged on him.
Show me 1,000 that hath done thee wrong, and I will be revenged on them all.
Look round about the wicked streets of Rome, and when thou find'st a man that's like thyself, good murder, stab him. He's a murderer. Go thou with him, and when it is thy hap to find another that is like to thee, good rapine, stab him. He is a ravisher. Well, go thou with them, and in the emperor's court there is a queen, attended by a Moor. Well shalt thou know her by thine own proportion, for up and down she doth resemble thee. I pray thee, do on them some violent death. They have been violent to me and mine.
Well hast thou lessoned us. This shall we do. But would it please thee, good Andronicus, to send for Lucius, thy thrice valiant son, who leads towards Rome a band of warlike Goths, and bid him come and banquet at thy house? When he is here, even at thy solemn feast, I will bring in the empress and her sons, the emperor himself, and all thy foes, and at thy mercy shall they stoop and kneel, and on them shalt thou ease thy angry heart. What says Andronicus to this device?
Marcus, my brother, 'tis sad Titus calls. Go, gentle Marcus, to thy nephew Lucius. Thou shalt inquire him out among the Goths. Bid him repair to me and bring with him some of the chiefest princes of the Goths. Bid him encamp his soldiers where they are. Tell him the emperor and the empress too feast at my house, and he shall feast with them. This do thou for my love, and so let him as he regards his aged father's life.
This will I do, and soon return again.
Now will I hence about thy business, and take my ministers along with me.
Nay, nay. Let rape and murder stay with me. Or else I'll call my brother back again and cleave to no revenge but Lucius.
What say you, boys? Will you abide with him whilst I go tell my lord the emperor how I have governed our determined jest? Yield to his humour, smooth and speak him fair, and tarry with him till I turn again.
I knew them all, though they supposed me mad, and will o'erreach them in their own devices. A pair of cursed hellhounds and their dam.
Madam, depart at pleasure. Leave us here.
Farewell, Andronicus. Revenge now goes to lay a complot to betray thy foes.
I know thou dost, and sweet revenge. Farewell.
Tell us, old man, how shall we be employed?
Tut, I have enough work for you to do. Publius, come hither. Caius and Valentine.
What is your will?
Know you these two?
The empress' sons, I take them. Chiron, Demetrius.
Fie, Publius, fie! Thou art too much deceived. The one is murder, and rape is the other's name. And therefore bind them, gentle Publius. Caius and Valentine, lay hands on them. Oft have you heard me wish for such an hour, and now I find it. Therefore bind them sure, and stop their mouths if they begin to cry.
Villains, forbear, we are the Empress's sons!
And therefore do we what we are commanded. Stop close their mouths. Let them not speak a word. Is he sure bound? Look that you bind them fast.
Come, Lavinia, come. Look, thy foes are bound. Sirs, stop their mouths. Let them not speak to me, but let them hear what fearful words I utter. Oh, villains, Chiron and Demetrius. Here stands the spring, whom you have stained with mud. this goodly summer with your winter mixed. You killed her husband, and for that vile fault 2 of her brothers were condemned to death. My hand cut off and made a merry jest, both her sweet hands, her tongue, and that more dear than hands or tongue, her spotless chastity. Inhuman traitors you constrained and forced. What would you say if I should let you speak? Villains, for shame you could not beg for grace. Hark, wretches, how I mean to martyr you. This one hand yet is left to cut your throats, whiles that Lavinia, 'tween her stumps, doth hold the basin that receives your guilty blood. You know your mother means to feast with me, and calls herself Revenge, and thinks me mad. Hark, villains, I will grind your bones to dust, and with your blood and it I'll make a paste, and of the paste a coffin I will rear, and make 2 pasties of your shameful heads, and bid that strumpet, your unhallowed dam, like the earth swallow her own increase. This is the feast that I have bid her to, and this the banquet she shall serve it on. For worse than Philomel you have used my daughter, and worse than Procne I will be revenged. And now prepare your throats. Lavinia, come, receive the blood. And when they are dead, let me go grind their bones to powder small, and with this hateful liquor temper it, and in that paste let the vile heads be baked. Come, come, be everyone officious to make this banquet, which I wish may prove more stern and more bloody than the centaur's feast. So, now bring them in, for I'll play the cook, and see them ready against their mother comes.
Act 5, Scene 3, a courtyard on Titus' estate, with a table prepared for a banquet. Enter Lucius, Marcus, and the Goths, with Aaron under guard and an attendant carrying his baby.
Uncle Marcus, since 'tis my father's mind that I repair to Rome, I am content.
And ours with thine befall what fortune will.
Good uncle, take you in this barbarous Moor, this ravenous tiger, this accursed devil. Let him receive no sustenance. Fetter him till he be brought unto the empress's face for testimony of her foul proceedings. And see the ambush of our friends be strong. I fear the emperor means no good to us.
Some devil whisper curses in my ear, and prompt me that my tongue may utter forth the venomous malice of my swelling heart.
Away, inhuman dog, unhallowed slave. Sirs, help our uncle convey him in. The trumpets show the emperor is at hand.
What? Hath the firmament more sons than one?
What boots it thee to call thyself a son?
Rome's emperor and nephew break the parle. These quarrels must be quietly debated. The feast is ready, which the careful Titus hath ordained to an honorable end. For peace, for love, for league, and good to Rome. Please you, therefore, draw nigh and take your places.
Marcus, we will.
Welcome, my lord. Welcome, dread queen. Welcome, you warlike Goths. Welcome, Lucius, and welcome all. Although the cheer be poor, 'twill fill your stomachs. Please you, eat of it.
Why art thou thus attired, Andronicus?
Because I would be sure to have all well to entertain your highness and your empress.
We are beholding to you, good Andronicus.
And if your highness knew my heart, you were. My lord the emperor, resolve me thus. Was it well done of rash Virginius to slay his daughter with his own right hand because she was enforced, stained, and deflowered?
It was, Andronicus.
Your reason, mighty lord?
Because the girl should not survive her shame and by her presence still renew his sorrows.
A reason mighty, strong, and effectual. A pattern, precedent, and lively warrant for me. Most wretched, to perform the like. Die, Lavinia! Die. And thy shame with thee, and with thy shame thy father's sorrow, die.
What hast thou done, unnatural and unkind?
Killed her for whom my tears have made me blind. I am as woeful as Virginius was, and have 1,000 times more cause than he to do this outrage, and it now is done.
What? Was she ravished? Tell who did the deed.
Will please you eat. Will please your highness feed.
Why hast thou slain thine only daughter thus?
Not I. 'Twas Chiron and Demetrius. They ravished her and cut away her tongue, and 'twas they that did her all this wrong.
Go, fetch them to us presently.
Why, there they are, both baked in this pie, whereof their mother daintily hath fed, eating the flesh that she herself hath bred. Oh, 'tis true, 'tis true. Witness my sharp knife's point.
Die, frantic wretch, for this accursed deed!
Can the son's eye behold his father bleed? There's meed for mead, death for a deadly deed.
You sad-faced men, people and sons of Rome, by uproars and severed as a flight of fowl, scattered by winds and high tempestuous gusts. Oh, let me teach you how to knit again this scattered corn into one mutual sheath, these broken limbs again into one body, lest Rome herself be bane unto herself, and she whom mighty kingdoms curtsy to like a forlorn and desperate castaway, do shameful execution on herself. But if my frosty signs and chaps of age, grave witness of true experience, cannot induce you to attend my words, speak, Rome's dear friend, as erst our ancestor, when with his solemn tongue he did discourse to love-sick Dido's sad attending ear, the story of that baleful burning night when subtle Greeks surprised King Priam's Troy. Tell us what Sinon hath bewitched our ears, or who hath brought that fatal engine in what gives our Troy, our Rome, the civil wound. My heart is not compact or flint nor steel, nor can I utter all but bitter grief. But floods of tears will drown my oratory and break my utterance, even in the time when it should move you to attend me most and force you to commiseration. Here's Rome's young captain. Let him tell the tale, whilst I stand by and weep to hear him speak.
Then, gracious auditory, be it known to you that Chiron and the damned Demetrius were they that murdered our emperor's brother, and they it were that ravished our sister. For their fell faults, our brothers were beheaded, our father's tears despised, and basely cousined of that true hand that fought Rome's quarrel out, and set her enemies into the grave. Lastly, myself, unkindly banished, the gate shut on me, and turned weeping out to beg relief among Rome's enemies, who drowned their enmity in my true tears, and oped their arms to embrace me as a friend, I am the turned forth, be it known to you, that have preserved her welfare in my blood, and from my bosom took the enemy's point, sheathing the steel in my adventurous body. Alas, you know I am no vaunter, I. My scars can witness, dumb although they are, that my report is just and full of truth. But soft, methinks I do digress too much, citing my worthless praise. Oh, pardon me, for when no friends are by, men praise themselves.
Now is my turn to speak. Behold the child. Of this was Tamara delivered, the issue of an irreligious Moor, chief architect and plotter of these woes. The villain is alive in Titus's house, and as he is to witness, this is true. Now judge what cause had Titus to revenge these wrongs unspeakable, past patience, or more than any living man could bear. Now have you heard the truth? What say you, Romans? Have we done aught amiss? Show us wherein, and from the place where you behold us pleading, the poor remainder of Andronici will hand in hand, all headlong hurl ourselves, and on the ragged stones beat forth our souls and make a mutual closure of our house. Speak, Romans, speak. And if you say we shall, lo, hand in hand, Lucius and I will fall.
Come, come, thou reverend man of Rome, and bring our emperor gently in thy hand. Lucius, our emperor, for well I know, the common voice do cry, it shall be so.
Lucius, all hail Rome's royal emperor!
Go into old Titus's sorrowful house, and hither hail that misbelieving Moor, to be adjudged some direful slaughtering death as punishment for his most wicked life.
Lucius, all hail Rome's gracious governor!
Thanks, gentle Romans. May I govern so to heal Rome's harms and wipe away her woe. But, gentle people, give me aim a while, for nature puts me to a heavy task. Stand all aloof, but, uncle, draw you near, to shed obsequious tears upon this trunk. Oh, take this warm kiss on thy pale, cold lips, these sorrowful drops upon thy blood-stained face, the last true duties of thy noble son.
Tear for tear and loving kiss for kiss. Thy brother Marcus tenders on thy lips. Oh, were the sum of these that I should pay countless and infinite, yet would I pay them.
Come hither, boy. Come and learn of us to melt in showers. Thy grandsire loved thee well. Many a time he danced thee on his knee, sung thee asleep, his loving breast thy pillow. Many a story hath he told to thee, and bid thee bear his pretty tales in mind, and talk of him when he was dead and gone.
How many thousand times have these poor lips, when they were living, warmed themselves on thine? Oh, now, sweet boy, give them their latest kiss. Bid him farewell, commit him to the grave. Do them that kindness, and take leave of them.
Grandsire, even with all my heart would I were dead, that you did live again. Lord, I cannot speak to him for weeping. My tears will choke me if I open my mouth.
You sad Andronici, have done with woes. Give sentence on this execrable wretch that hath been breeder of these dire events.
Set him breast deep in earth and famish him. There let him stand and rave and cry for food. If anyone relieves or pities him for the offense, he dies. This is our doom. Some stay to see him fastened in the earth.
Why should wrath be mute and fury dumb? I am no baby, I, that with base prayers I should repent the evils I have done. 10,000 worse than ever yet I did would I perform, if I might have my will. If one good deed in all my life I did, I do repent it from my very soul.
Some loving friends convey the emperor hence and give him burial in his father's grave. My father and Lavinia shall forthwith be closed in our household monument. As for that ravenous tiger, Tamara, no funeral rite, nor man in mourning weed, no mournful bell shall ring her burial, but throw her forth to beasts and birds to prey. Her life was beastly and devoid of pity, and being dead, let birds on her take pity.
Let's call our players back for Titus Andronicus. Jason Rennie, Christopher Carbo, Taylor Marr, Ben Birmingham, Megan Wells, Elise Ashton, Chris Klein, Richard Connolly, Dave Demke, Mark Tracy, Nancy Pasquale, Spencer Frederick, Elizabeth Juvenal, John Eddings, Hadley Hulka, and I'm Mary Carrick. Thank you so much for tuning in, and join us next time for Romeo and Juliet.